So from Brett Van Dander, from a fan point of view, what is your favorite episode of The Expanse, and which podcast episode has been the most fun / amazing? That's a very good question, Brett. And I got to be honest, how the universe works. This podcast or this episode that we're talking about right now might be my favorite, or definitely one of my favorites. Maybe if I sit back and think deeply, but I think this one might be my favorite. Definitely this season is my favorite. Now, podcast, I think, and you get prepared, you're answering the same question, Ty. I think the best podcast that we've done, because I went back and listened to it, and one of the few ones sometimes I'll listen to the beginning just to make sure I order and everything and sounds good, and then I don't listen to it. But I ended up listening to the Predator one with me, Ty, and Brett Simmons. I thought that was really good. I thought it was structured. I thought we hit the points. I thought we were giving somebody new, and it was thoughtful about a movie that was talked about ad nauseum and beloved. And I thought we might have got some new thoughts or some new opinions, and maybe introduced the movie to somebody that's never seen it before. So I really enjoyed that. I enjoy the deep dives of films. I love the John Carpenter series we're doing. I'm really excited about getting into the Stephen King book club. But those are the things. I love talking about The Expanse, but we've been talking about The Expanse for a while. So I like, just being a fan of something I'm not a part of, and really examining it from that point of view. You're up, Ty.
So, a TV writer's room is a collaborative process, and often the name that is on a screenplay, a script for an episode is not always indicative of I don't want to say this in a way that's insulting. Everybody in a writer's room is rewritten, and everybody at the senior level in a writer's room does some rewriting. So this is not to bash anybody in particular, and definitely not going there. But there's a episode that I did a lot of work on rewriting, and most of that was because of you, Wes. It was the screenplay was written for this episode. It had a lot of Amos stuff in it, and Amos is tricky to get. Amos is there's only a few writers that have ever worked on The Expanse that truly can nail an Amos scene without any revision. It's a pretty small group because he's a tricky voice to get, and I often wind up doing a lot of Amos rewriting because I'm the guy who gets what Amos's voice. So episode 6 of season 3, which is the one where the ship goes down and they rescue the kids from the lab, I wound up doing a ton of rewriting on that episode to make sure the physics of what were happening in the lab and Amos's part of that stuff and the battles that were happening there all got right. And because of that, because I rewrote a bunch of it, I think that episode turned out really, really well. Up until the later seasons, for most people, episode 6 of season 3 is one of their favorite episodes of the show. And that makes me really happy because I worked on it so much. And it has the famous, probably the most YouTube clipped scene of The Expanse ever, which is your famous "I am that guy" moment, which I wrote it. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. Like, you put it in the script, and like I could picture you saying it, and I could picture that you were going to do it right. But it's also a line that gets fucked up very easily. It's a moment that gets fucked up very easily. If the actor plays it at all wrong, it comes across cheesy, it comes across stupid. And the reason I love that episode so much is because you crushed that line. Like, it was so easy for it to be wrong, and you got exactly the right tone, the right voice for it. It was delivered perfectly, and it made me so happy because I was really worried about it. I spent a lot of time worried, like, is this going to work? Because you put stuff in a script and you're like, if they do it the way I'm thinking it, it'll be great. If they do it any other way, it won't be good.
I remember reading the script, and this happens very few, but I remember reading the script and reading that part and just pausing and just having butterflies, like feeling the pitter patter of my heart and being like, wow, this really strikes it, man. This is really a chord, Have you ever had moments of somebody in your life and they have a strong personality in one way, and 90% of the time they just rub you like it's just like, oh God, here goes so and so, here goes so.
Yeah.
But every now and then it's the right situation and that person shows up and you're like, oh my God, I love this guy so much right now. You know what I'm saying? Because of that personality type or whatever. Whereas like, but there's something about moments like that where you spend years building up and then you have a moment of like that, of like, you know, where this is something where this guy comes in handy, you know?
Yeah. So that one I really appreciated. And to give you credit. And so, you know, a little behind the scenes for the 3 people who care about behind the scenes TV.
Quiet, Joseph,
production
quiet.
stuff.
Ty's about to give me credit. Shh,
Yeah.
everybody, Patreon members, quiet down. Okay.
Wes and I worked on that scene together. And the thing that the viewers won't know is that when Amos is talking to Prax and he says, "You're not that guy," there's actually, in the original script, there's a little more dialogue there. When he's talking Prax down, there's a little more dialogue talking Prax down. And you and I had a conversation where you said, "I can do this without that. I can play this scene without that extra line. I can make it work." And I was like, "Hey, do it. Let's see how it works without it." And you were the one who had the idea to just have Amos say, "You're not that guy," and then just repeat, "You're not that guy." And drop the extra line where he's talking Prax down. And it works perfectly. So that's also part of the reason why I like that, because this episode to me is so collaborative, because the original screenwriter wrote, you know, this really good script for the thing. It needed a little work because of the Amos stuff. I worked on that part. I came to you, you know, we gave you the script. You came to me and we worked together to like hone that scene. So every part of it was really collaborative. And the final product it makes me very happy. So yeah, that one for me.